Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Sistrunk and I'm reaching out to the student body. Okay, students, welcome back to the channel. We're starting with another packet tracer. This particular packet tracer is 4.7.1 packet tracer. Connect the physical layer. You will notice that we have a theme here. That means we're following a pattern of consistently building your ability to do this work up. Remember, it is easy, it is not hard, but it does take persistence. You have to be persistent. Now, what I'm gonna start doing in these phases that we're going forward in will be to break it up into sections. So we're gonna have an introductory section, and we're gonna go part 1, then part 2, etc. I want you to get used to how we do these packet tracers so you will be able to be prolific in understanding this technology. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so this objective is to identify physical characteristics of internetworking devices. Select correct modules for connectivity, connect devices, and then check your connectivity. You will see that theme a lot. Check your work, people. Make sure you did it right. In our introduction, we got the background scenario. Okay, we got in this activity, you will explore the different options available on internetworking devices. You will also be required to add the correct modules and connect the devices. So in this scenario, you will just have a ready-made packet tracer and you will begin to connect these devices. So let's move on to the first part. Now, before we start the first part, let's begin to look at the devices that are on here. As you can see, you have a cell tower, you have multiple routers in here. We're moving into that phase where you're going to start configuring routers, but we still got a lot of configuring of the switch before we get there, but we're moving into that phase. We got multiple desktop PCs, we even got a tablet PC and a laptop. Access points, you're going to get a chance to work with them. Excellent. Let's go back and start the work, people. Let's get into the work. Okay, here we go. So, part 1, identify physical characteristics of internetworking devices. Step 1, identify the management ports of a Cisco router. It says click the East router. The physical tab should be active. Zoom in and expand the window to see the entire router. So let's go take a look at that. Let's shrink this down. So here's the East router. We're going to click on that. And I'm going to make this a little bigger so we can all see it. And as you can see, we can zoom into this and make it a little bigger. Now, what you want to begin to do is notice the different ports on this particular router. You got expansion slots here. One is covered, one is not covered. You got an actual insertion of what they put a serial connection here, and you got multiple ports right here. So we want to make sure we understand this. Your job will be to understand your routers and your switches, you know, whatever level they are on. Okay, it says which management ports are available. I'm gonna let you answer that question because you should know. Question 2, which LAN and WAN interfaces are available on the East router and how many are there? I'm gonna let you answer that question, people. It says click the CLI tab, press the enter key to access the user mode prompt and enter the following command. So the command is going to be show IP interface brief. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, I am going to click the CLI. As you can see, this gives you a description of what router you have in your possession. And you can see it lays out all the information. This information is actually important, but we're going to talk about this later on because you may have to purchase routers and switches for your company. So I'm going to hit enter a couple of times, and then I'm going to go ahead and enable, and then it says show, run. Now you know the full command. This is the full command, so you won't think I'm cheating in the game. Okay, the full command will be show IP interface brief. So I said show run because I'm looking at that, but I'm gonna come and put this right here in so we can look at that too. But let's finish looking at the running configuration. See, we want to make sure that I'm following the commands. So this running configuration shows me exactly what the configuration looks at now. And this will be the first thing that you do, people. You want to see what the configuration is now. So you can see IP addresses in here on a serial and all that. So once I start connecting, this stuff will start working. Now here's an expert hint. When you see stuff like this already configured, get a copy of it, take a snapshot, and then be able to go and create your own routers and switches set up. But use this information so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just use this information. But this is good for you to know. That's a pro tip, people. A pro tip to make sure you get caught up on this. And there you go. Now we're going to go ahead and put in the right configuration, show IP interface brief, and see what's in there. And as you can see, we looking at the same thing up here, right? But we just want to see the interfaces. So you can see interface 0 right here. It's got 172.1, got 172.31, serial 10.10.10, and the other serial unassigned down. So we got a lot going on here, and you see them up and down for a reason. Okay, let's go back to the instructions. Here's one that's important. The output verifies the correct number of interfaces and their destinations. The VLAN 1 interface is a virtual interface that only exists in software. So you know right now that VLAN 1 is always virtual. It's just a way for us to connect to the router or the switch, whichever one we had a VLAN on. How many physical interfaces are listed? So enter the following commands right here. So let's go ahead and put that command in. Now I know I'm doing it the short way, but you know I want you to type this in. You have to learn these commands. But for this video, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it really quick because now I'm actually gonna stop doing that too, because I don't want you to just see me doing it and get in the habit of doing it. That would be extremely bad. Now you can see show interface Giga Ethernet 00, and you can see that the port is up. You want to make sure of that the line is down. And why is the line down? Well, it's down because we don't have no connection. So the line should be down. On here we have no connection to anything. So once we connect, the line will be up. Okay, going back to this, let's see what else we got in here. It's a whole host of information in here that you're gonna get a chance to understand. All of this play a part in making sure you understand what's happening with your router and your switch. So you'll get a chance to understand all of this here. And especially when things are going wrong, all you have to do is look at that interface and it'll tell you exactly how to troubleshoot and fix the problem. Okay, let's go back to the instructions. So it says what is the default bandwidth and so on and so forth. Now we're going to do the same thing with the serial connection because we want to go look at the serial connection. So we're going to drop that in. People, if you're going to be an expert in this field, type it out. Okay, here we go. So show interface serial 000. And we see now that the same thing. We see that this line is down. Serial is down. the line is down. We see the hardware tag. We see internet address. We got a lot of information in here. And don't worry about it now. You know, like they say, how do you eat a pie? One piece at a time. You're going to learn this later on down the line. All of this information. So let's move on. Let's go take a look back at the instructions. Okay, so we did that. So one part of phase 1 has been completed. The question here said, what is the default bandwidth of this interface? Make sure you're answering your questions. Note, bandwidth on a serial interface is used by routing the best path. That router uses that bandwidth and says, okay, what would be the best path to take? For instance, let's take a look at this right quick. So your router here, if it's trying to connect here and go into the cloud to connect here, it wants to know the best path to get there. And it may have to jump through a lot of different hoops to get there, meaning it may have to jump through a lot of different routers to get there. Okay, so let's go back. Go into instructions. And it says identify module expansion slots. So let's go take a look at these expansion slots on the particular router right quick. Just look at a few of them. How many expansion slots are available to add additional modules to the each router? Click switch to. How many expansion slots there too? So we're gonna go do that, and then we're gonna go into part 2. So let's go take a look at that right quick. We're doing well with this, people. We're doing well. So I'm gonna open this up, make it bigger, and then I'm gonna go to the physical. So we got an expansion slot here. We got an expansion slot here that has a plate on that's covered. We got one already in there. So we really got 2 on here. So when you take a look at these here, if I click here and I come right down here to the bottom, you see where my mouse point is? It shows me a card that I can put in here, a serial card that I can put in here, and or in here or in here. If I come to the next one, it shows me another type of serial card that I can put in there. And all I got to do is make sure that this is cut off. I got to cut it off first. Then I can move this card and just plug it right in there. You see that? But I'm not going to do that because that ain't what I want to do right now. Then I can come to the next one right here, and you will see this here. So I can actually use any one of these. Now let me give you a pro tip. These cards are extremely expensive. I mean, they are expensive, people. So, you know, they cost a lot of money. Let's see what else we got. I mean, it upwards to $2,000-$3,000. And here we got a cover here. So I'm going to take this off and I'm just going to cover it up. You see what I just did right there? Covered it up. So I'm going to take that off too and turn it back on. Okay, so we got the router turned back on. Let's go see what it says. Also, I'm going to close this out. It says go to switch 2. And here goes switch 2. And you see now in switch 2, we got multiple expansion cards. So what I did was I zoomed in, made it be bigger, and you see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expansion slots, and you got multiple plugins. Take a look down here. They come down here when I click on one. I can click on this here to cover. Now watch this. I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna go take this cover and slide it right on top. Watch this. Now I plug that up. I'm gonna get rid of it. But these are things. Now, you never want to purchase a router and don't cover up an empty slot. When you got an empty slot, you cover that baby up, because you never know who might want to sneak in and destroy your company. So as you see, I click, these cards continue to change, as you can see. Okay, so we take a look at that. Let's go back to the instructions now. If I'm looking at the East router right here, I can see that I have multiple. I got 1, 2, and then I can add a card. So I can actually go add this card right here. Let me turn it off and put it in there. Add that, and that gives me more connections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. That's 6 connections, and with the serial is another 2, so that's a total of 8 connections. Let's see what it wants me to do though, because I was about to connect things. It says here in step 2, let's deal with the question first. Which module can you insert to provide a giga optional connection to switch 2? Gigabyte optional. So we already did it. You saw what I put in there. I'm moving ahead of the game. I know, people. I know this stuff, so I'm moving ahead of the game. Now, in order for it to work, remember this. I have to turn it off because it's not hot swappable. So we got to turn it off. I did that. And what else do it want me to do? Using the same procedure, insert modules that indicate step B. So we did all of that. And then it says show IP interface brief again to look at it. Okay, but we looked at all that. Now I want to connect it. I have not connected it yet, but it's going to tell me right here. Here's the connections right here. So let's go about doing the connections now. And basically, I know you guys gonna read this, but it says this may be the first activity you have done where you are required to connect devices. Select the appropriate cable type, click the first device and select the specified. So we all know how to do that. We have did multiple packet traces already. So let's go make some of these changes. So I'm gonna move this over so I can see it on my other screen and then proceed to walk through the steps. So east, we got east right here. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna choose the right cabling. And for east, it says copper straight through to the switch. So I'm gonna come to switch 1 right here. It wants me to start right here at 0, okay, and then go to switch 1, gigabyte 0, gigabyte Ethernet 0, and go to switch 1, and it wants me to choose, of course, 1 right here, gigabyte Ethernet 01. Okay, so that's going. I'm gonna do a fast connect, and we got green lines right there. Okay, so let's go do the next one. East, it wants me to click straight copper straight through, and then it wants to go to east, and it wants me to choose 1 this time, and it wants me to go to switch 4. And in switch 4, it wants me to take 1 here too. So we got that. I'm gonna do a fast forward. There we go. We got green. You see those working. So now we want to go east fast Ethernet. We're gonna click on here again, and we're gonna east fast Ethernet, and we're gonna go to PC1. Let's get that. We're gonna go fast Ethernet 0, and we're gonna click on PC1. And 0. There you go. Fast forward it. We got it going. And we're going to do the other 2 like that too. We're going to go for 2 and 3, the same thing. So for 2, let's go ahead. We're going to go here. And we're going to go to 1. And we're going to go to 2 and get that. Yes, we are. And then we're going to do the same thing for this here. Click here, click there, click there, click there. See how easy that was? Let's fast forward it to get it going. See how easy that was? That was an easy setup, no problem there. That was really, really easy, people. We're doing good. Okay, so let's move down. Now let me show you what I actually did so you can see. I simply followed the instructions, and the instructions wanted me to take these here and begin to connect them. And as you see, I got switch 1, switch 4, PC1, PC2, PC3. So I knocked that out. I'm gonna blank it out so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And you can see where I'm at now. Now we're gonna go to switch 1, fast Ethernet, and copper straight through to switch 4. Switch 1, copper straight through, fast Ethernet, copper straight through switch 5. Switch 1, and so on and so forth. Well, let's go ahead and do that right now. Get that out the way. And we're dealing with switch 1 on this one here. So let's get switch 1 going. Okay, here we go. We're going to copper straight through right here. we're going to go to switch 1. And from switch 1, we want fast Ethernet 1. And we're going to drop down here to PC 4 and get that in. We're going to do the same thing. Fast Ethernet 2. Get that in. And we're going to come here and do the same thing here. Now, one of the things I want to show you when we're doing this is making sure that we actually knocking the assignment out. I'm going to fast it up so you can see it. So we got multiple things we just accomplished here. So I'm going to go now and just actually check out the instructions to make sure we following the path. Let's look in the assessment items. So you can see multiple things here that we're doing. We got connected, and you can see it all through here. We actually knocked out a lot of work right here, and that's great. So every once in a while, come and check your assessment items to make sure you're on the right path. I actually knocked 32% of it out of 51%. So I'm doing really good. 16 items was chosen. So let me go ahead and close that and come back here. Put that back over there. And let's proceed on. So I'm going to bring the instructions over here, blow that up. And I proceeded to take care of these items here. You can see switch 1, switch 2, switch 1, switch 1, switch 1, PC 4, PC 5, PC 6. We knocked that out. It's simple, right? It's not hard, people. This is simple stuff. But I do need you to pay attention to your cabling. I talked about that in my last vlog packet tracer example, and I'm talking about it now. So we got switch 4 now, switch 3, switch 2, switch 2. So let's go knock out switch 4. I'm going to bring that down. Switch 4, Giga Ethernet 2 to copper crossover switch 3. So we want to connect a switch and a switch. We want to go 4 to 3. I think I'm going to stretch this out just a little since it's sitting there and it's not that much of a problem. I do want to have it right here where I can see it, just in case. That's jumping back and forth is getting real boring quick. So we're going to switch 4 to switch 3. So we look for switch 4 right here, and there goes switch 4 and there goes switch 3. But we want a copper crossover cable, which is here, and we're going to click on here and we're going to go to Ethernet, Giga Ethernet 2. We're going to click here and get Giga Ethernet. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's this one here. But let's go check to make sure. Even though I clicked it, I can change it at any time. So we want to go 4 Giga Ethernet 2. I did that. Crossover cable switch. Giga Ethernet 3.1. Yep, we hit the right one. We hit the right one. Let's speed it up. There it is. We got it going. You can see it going, gone. Okay, so now what's next, people? Let's go see what we got next. Okay, so we're gonna go switch 3, Giga Ethernet 5/1, fiber optic to switch 2, Giga Ethernet 5/1. So we got fiber in this one to 1 to 5151. So let's go look at that. Okay, let's go look at it. So we want fiber. There go to fiber. And if I'm not mistaken, we said 3. So we're gonna go 3 here, and we're gonna look for that fiber 5. There it is. And the next one that it wants me to go to is switch 2, right there. And it wants to hit that fiber. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Did y'all see that? It wanted 5.5. So when you do that, make that mistake. We're going to make that mistake, people. We want to come take that cable out. Let's get this right here. Okay. Now I'm going to come back here. Get that arrow. Now, it said, if I'm not mistaken, 5/1, 5/1. I didn't choose that. I choose 4. So let's go back and get that fiber, and we're going to click here. We want 5/1. Come here, 5/1. It does not have a 5/1 over here. It's got a 4. Now, if you see stuff like this, just mark it up to a simple mistake, but choose the right selection. So I'm going to choose the 4. Okay, that's why I chose that. I see it didn't have it, but I had to choose the right one. Now, if you look right here in the instructions, let's go to the instructions. It wanted 5151, okay, but it didn't have that, so I chose 4. And if there's any problems after that, we'll figure it out later, but it shouldn't be a problem. They fiber optics, so it can't be a problem. So now we're gonna do 2, switch 2, switch 2, switch 2. We got 4 of them, and we're going with a copper straight through, and we're gonna hit 7, 8, and 9, and access point. Okay, port 0. These are all zeros, port 0, and it's 3 1. So this is a copper straight through, copper straight through, copper straight through. So let's go do that exercise. Okay, copper straight through. I'm gonna go ahead and from copper straight through, remember now it said switch 2, okay? Remember we're going to switch 2. So here's switch 2 right here, and it wants me to hit this fast Ethernet right quick. So I got the fast Ethernet, and I'm going to port 0. Okay, let's see if we can fast track that, and we did. Move this out the way just a little. Okay, then we're gonna take that switch 2. I did the copper straight through to the access port. I just wanted to get that out the way, right? Because that's right there above under me. So I'm just gonna go now and just start hitting all of these. So this is 3/1. I don't think I did the right one on that. Let me just take a look real quick. I'm gonna go here, copper straight through, and it wants me to hit. Yeah, I hit the right one. Okay, so we want me to go here and go to. Is that 9? Let me make sure. 7. Okay, so we're gonna go 7, and we're gonna knock you out. We're gonna hit you. Go right here, hit 1, and we're gonna hit 8. Knock you out. Then come right here and hit 1 and knock you out. Okay, that's done. Let's fast track it, and we looking good. Okay, so we were able to take care of all of that. 3, 2, 1, 1. We got all of that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close that out. Before I close that out, though, let me go ahead and take a look at it. Though, let's go look at our activity in here real quick, check results, and see what the assessment items say. And wow, we pretty much done. I mean, we almost done. We just got a few things left though. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What else we got? Just a few things. 5. Just 5 things. You can see you can move through this really quick. 46 out of 51. So it's not that much. We knocked out 13 items out of 16. We pretty much done. Okay, this is, like I say, it's not that long to do this. So you can knock this out in no time. And now we're going to come here. And so we knocked all of this out. So I'm going to get rid of that, get that off my plate. And then we're going to go back to the east and go to serial 0. And then we're going to go to serial DCE, connect to the east first and then west. So this is really interesting. You know, I talked to you about this before and I really didn't go into depth, but if you notice, you have 2 serial connections here. One is serial DCE, which has a clock on, and one is serial DTE. And when we get to that section where we actually talking about router connections, I'm gonna explain this in depth. But right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and click this, and I'm gonna go to east right quick, and I'm gonna choose that 0, and then it wants me to go to west, and I'm gonna choose 0 on the west, and there it is. You see it lit up automatically, so the router is talking to the router. They automatically lit up, so that worked out well. Okay, so we completed all of the connections tests. You know, now let's go down here to the last part, and pretty much we just gonna check some interfaces and stuff like that, check connectivity and so on and so forth. So it says click the interface status on east, go to CLL and show IP interface brief. And you're going to see a lot of things talking to each other. So I'm gonna go to East. I'm gonna come up here CLI, and then I'm gonna hit enter. See all that up that you see right there, all this up? That means things are talking. I'm gonna go enable, and then what I'm gonna do is go ahead and drop that in. Do not do this, people. I want you typing it in. I'm gonna blow that up, and now you can see all these devices are up. See, all of them up. Status protocol up. All of the devices are communicating and talking to what they need to talk to. Okay, we got one right here, fast Ethernet 0/1. It's down, but the port is up. We'll look at that if I don't even think I had to do that because it's 4 of them, right? Okay, but they're up. They're up and rolling out. They doing really well. Okay, let's go ahead back to the instructions. Okay, so we see this, and yeah, see, it was supposed to be down. Okay, and VLANs, and okay, all of that is great. We did good with that. Okay, moving along, it says connect wireless devices, laptop, and tablet PC. And we're gonna stop here. The rest of it you can go check yourself. But that is basically it with this particular packet tracer. As you can see, it was simple, people. It's not hard. So now it says click the laptop and select the config tab and then click wireless. So let's go look at that. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna go to the laptop, click on that. I'm gonna go to the config tab. I'm gonna go right here to wireless 0. And then I'm gonna turn it on. Now watch what happens when I turn it on. Just watch what happens there. As soon as I turn it on, all of a sudden now this laptop will be able to, see? It can be able to reach out with the wireless. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the tablet. I'm gonna come here, go to config, click wireless, and then click turn on. And once I do that, the tablet is gonna get its line. There it is. So that's basically it when it comes to connectivities of these devices. I need you to explore, have fun with it. You saw me put this whole thing together. It wasn't that hard. You see how simple it is. You're just gonna follow instructions. Now this is Professor Sistrunk. I hope that this helped you out in your connections. We need to make sure that you do your connections correctly. And I will see you in the next vlog.